Industrial Revolution gave birth to consumerism. A new middle class with money to burn wanted fancy goods to show they'd arrived. High tea was trendy. White tablecloths, the latest cutlery from Sheffield, and tea served in fine bone china. But fine bone china and best Darjeeling don't appear on the tea table by magic. And up here in the potteries, there are an awful lot of anonymous workers who bore the brunt of all this social aspiration. For instance, to make fine bone china, you need bone. And the person cleaning all the bone was the bone cleaner, Angela. I was supposed to immediately start asking you about bone cleaning, but as I came round the corner, there was this massive whiff. These things are literally crawling with maggots. Why have they got maggots all over them?
Well, it's old bone. They didn't kill animals just for the pottery industry. It was bone from anywhere, usually cattle bone. It's been lying about for a while, and the unpleasant job for you is to clean it.
Oh, it really stinks, doesn't it?
You have to add some water to that as well. You have to get as much as you can off that.
Once they've cleaned all the rotting meat off the bones, what do they do with them?
Well, they do. The next thing that happens is that they're more thoroughly cleaned in water, and then they're burnt. They're calcined, which takes out all the glue and the jelly from the inside of the bone. Makes it really soft, and you can grind it down, mix it with the clay to make bone china.
It really is quite hard, isn't it? I thought it'd be quite easy to cut the meat off, particularly with these knives, but it's not half clean. Do we know anything about the people who did this job?
It was a job which women did.
Surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise, yeah. And we know that they hated the stink as well. They also talk about how sore their hands were being in the cold and the wet all the time.
No, it's not just me being squeamish.
No, sorry.
Oh, it's just a bit though. How much bone is there in bone china?
It's about half clay and half bone.
Why use bone?
It gives it whiteness. You can make a very thin body, and it's translucent. It's all the qualities you associate with bone china come from the bone.
So all these middle-class people would have been drinking their tea with their little fingers curled, totally unaware that what they would be drinking out of was 50% made out of that. Been a bit of an eye-opener, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would.
You can smell rotting meat a mile off, but the greater danger was that there were no health and safety inspectors around to warn you about some of the more invisible dangers like arsenic and lead, which did for so many workers during the Industrial Revolution. And here in the potteries, there was this stuff, the dust that floated through the air all the time, particularly during the final stages of the process when the workers were finishing off the pots. This stuff could give you potter's rot or pneumoconiosis, which was a lung disease which was potentially fatal. But hazards lurked among even the most innocent-looking jobs. Even the pressers who made the cup handles risked injury to their internal organs.
See, the rest of them, push hard, go hard. They called it jumping because they actually landed,
you can see that,
on their stomachs with it if it went smaller.
Yeah. I see what you mean by jumping, because after a while, you want to get your feet off the ground in order to put your weight on. And I suppose the smaller you are, the lighter you are, so the more you've got to do that.
There's testimony that was taken in the 1840s. A young lad called Herbert Bell. He talks about how it hurts his stomach, how hot it is, about 98 degrees in the factory. You're also right over the clay, breathing that dust in all the time.
How many of these would they have had to make in a day?
They've been making about 50 dozen a day, working with a team of others.
Hang on, 50 dozen, that's 720, no, what's 5 to 6? 600! 600 a day. Here we go, let's see if I've actually managed to cut through.
Oh, not bad. Then you take the excess off. You should really let it dry a little bit first, but
oh, it has cut,
that's
isn't it?
Good.
Do you know, I think that's the first time in this series that I've actually managed to complete a job with some degree of efficiency. Except the middle of it isn't cut. Industry reduced workers to tiny cogs in a giant production machine. Workers did one small repetitive job day in, day out. There were fettlers, piecers, placers, and sagger makers, bottom knockers. The drawer's only job was to take the fired pottery out of the kiln, quick. Imagine balancing on a ladder inside an oven that's been heated to 1400 degrees and shifting 10 kilos of burning hot pots onto your head.
Oh gosh, it feels like it's going to go. Oh.
One breakage and every single person in the chain would have their wages docked. So that's the china sorted.